Hello. So I just wanted to express some things uh, now that I have the chance. So, uh, I'm planning to get a house plant for myself because it'd be nice to have a plant in my room. Even though there are plants outside, by the time I get home, it's already 6 o'clock and it's already gets dark, and you can't really see much outside the window, and it's just different when it's right here, and I can just look at it and stare at it and just enjoy it. And had a funny thought where people are just like flowers for me because I like to look at people, um, stare at people, even though I'm not really aware that I'm doing it, but I'm just really looking at someone, and it's just like looking at a flower. And sometimes people notice and then they laugh and they're like, why are you staring or something like that. Um, it's nice to, I don't know, just I'm just that happened today during work with one coworker. He's pretty cool, and I don't know, it's just like a moment of silence where a lot of my moments, a lot of my days, I don't have any thought. I'm just quiet within myself. And obviously, when I'm doing something, I'm doing something. But when there's a moment, for interaction, sometimes it's just a moment of just looking at someone, you know, and um, there's nothing in particular going on within me in terms of wanting to say something, just in the moment, enjoying the moment. And and he was like, why are you staring kind of thing, which I've gotten that a lot from many different people across my life. But just literally just looking at a person and just in the moment, enjoying the moment. And it's a lot like with, I guess, flowers or nature. And I drew a new flower today, which is kind of what I was talking about the other day. We wanted to do one with teal, and that was the closest color I could get. And I called it the I'm Possible flower because the way they actually drew it, it's kind of impossible to exist in terms of the shape, but I don't think you would ever be able to tell or know, but I know. And yeah, can't really see it on the camera, but there is small flecks of gold there, which only I really know, or I can only really see, because no other person would really notice that. So I just put it there for me, and yeah, I like that. Doing that's something that I create. I put my love into it, and that's what I remember when I look at it. And so yeah, it would be nice to have let's say, a real quote unquote plant. Um, and it might even improve the air quality in my room as well, which would be nice. Because unfortunately, I do spend most of my time in here, after work. Because this is my space in the house where it's, let's say, protected from distractions, and that's how it is. Um, Something else was how I saw the movie Maleficent, or at least on TV, so there's some commercials, and I did miss some of the few minutes in the beginning of the movie, but it was interesting as I started watching it. I never saw it. I only saw like very brief clips of it, and like I think it was on TV as well before, and I saw like a few moments of it, and kind of had an idea of what it was about, and how there's like some Maleficent, like Angelina Jolie, and somehow it's like bad or evil. I don't know. So this time I watched it. The first few minutes was really interesting because, well, first was like about the battle scene was when I saw it, when I started watching the TV. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, uh, because it's pretty cool in terms of process points, things that we can learn and live and apply for ourselves. And so I want to discuss that, what I saw. So Maleficent, it was interesting to see, let's say the fairy, Maleficent, the fairy. But one thing was really cool, the visuals were just her flying, and that really would be cool to have flight like that and have such big wings like that, like a bird. That would be really cool. And so she gets betrayed by, I guess, the guy that she loved, and she is bent on revenge, and she puts this curse on his daughter, and she ends up kind of like watching the daughter grow, like watching over her, and even protecting her from afar. And basically she ends up loving her. And for me that's like the symbol, the metaphor of how every child is born innocent, regardless of their parents', let's say, sins or past. And there's a beauty that can touch any person's heart. So for her, she was able to remember her own, let's say, love, her own capacity for that. And she realizes that she made a mistake. And let's say she was able to transcend the point of letting go. One thing I would have liked to see in the movie, which I know is a stretch for the minds of people today, was when she was facing the father again, that even with him trying to kill her because he was still in revenge, that she would have said something to him like, I forgive you, that I know this is not who you are, I'm sorry that you turned out this way, and something like that. And because the way it goes, like, very coincidental of him just like dying and that being the easy way out, him trying to kill her and he dies. It's a very easy way out to cop out from having to face the more difficult reality and truth of life, where there are people who just hate you or just have such anger towards you, or that you had such anger towards them and created such a conflict, and that stays there. They don't die, eventually they die of old age, but they are there, and they exist, and you can transcend the point and support them and actually say like, I forgive you, So that would have been much, much better. I also didn't like how they kind of put like the prince at the very end of the movie, last 3 minutes or so. It's like whatever. Because was interesting because it's supposed to be the story of Sleeping Beauty, and like I saw this coming like a mile off because obviously, everything I had said before about her, you know, loving the the child, that you know, I knew that she was gonna be like, let's say, true love's kiss for waking up the child, which is supposed to be Sleeping Beauty. And I knew that the prince wouldn't work. It's kind of funny how they put a line there where um, true love can't fall from the sky that quickly or something like that, which is so true. Where it's not like, oh, you see like a beautiful woman or whatever or a guy, and then you fall in love, and that's true love, and that you know, no, that's not how it works. Which is kind of cool that they kind of put a line there like that, and they kind of showed that visually, sort of. And obviously, the implication was that it takes many, many, many years to really love someone. And Maleficent was in that point of living that, even though it's kind of that point where children don't fully understand what, let's say, parents give in terms of love for a very long time, and what that really implies. Um, but regardless of the same, like, and that's like the theme of that love is something you live, something you do, something you give as your action, how you live. Um, that's shown through time consistently. So that was a cool message to be in any movie or any story, because it's so rarely seen, that form of love that is more of a service, you'd say, more of a effort, and yeah. So yeah, I did have the things like I said that I wish were different, but I do applaud the good things, let's say. And I was looking at the point of how funny it would be if, let's say, in like a different, well, like I don't know everything, right? I don't have access to everything. But it's funny to think about, let's say, future reality, future for humanity, where the living is in such a way where it's so physical and so real, and like that, what that would be like, um, especially in terms of, let's say, with love, with getting to know someone, with um, having friendships that are deep, that are real, that are lived. And that reminded me of how, even not so long ago, like 100 years ago, how people um, sometimes be separated for long periods of time, and they still find a way to, let's say, remember or connect, or even through letters and writings, because maybe it's more a physical time period, a lot easier. But it's cool to see like the potential and how things can be like so much better, and I guess a lot more deeper. It is difficult for people to reach depth within them. Anyway, so for me, even though love with people, let's say, more challenging, but at least I get to practice within myself and within what I have and do and take care of and create and give myself. Like I'm planning on a trip to the Everglades on Saturday. Trying to do at least one thing a week. That is, for me, that's kind of like something I physically do and give myself. That is, as it requires some planning. It requires like a trip. It requires time, you know, to physically put things together. And the plan is to just go at night because here in the city you don't see any stars whatsoever. And I miss that, so I want to see that again. So I'm just going out there because I know that, because like when we would drive back from road trips, I would always notice that the Everglades there is plenty of stars you can see. You can see the Milky Way really easily. So I want to go there and see that. Knowing me, I'll probably, if it's a cold night, well, first I'd make sure it's a clear night. I have to do that planning. But if it's a cold night, I'd probably bring like a nice hot beverage, like hot cocoa or something similar to that. And I gotta go, because life calls. Okay.